Okay, I know I have written some articles online, those of you who have read my work over the years about getting diapers covered by your insurance. Now, I will admit I was wrong about a couple of things when I was writing those articles. When I was writing those articles back in the day, I was on Medicaid and still receiving benefits. And Medicaid covered the diapers for me 100%. Medicaid will, in most states, cover diapers. Now, I think in all states really, because it's a federal program, unless you're living in a state that has its own, like Medi-Cal for California or TennCare for Tennessee. If your states are like that and they haven't bought into the federal program and they're doing their own thing, you might want to check with them. I don't know. What I'll do is I'll do some research and I'll get back up on here and talk about that. But if your state participates in the Medicaid program, it's pretty much similar across the board, and it's federal, and they will cover your diapers. Now, I have discovered something recently that most private health plans will not cover them for you. And that's pretty terrible. Most private health plans will not cover them for you. And that's where I went wrong. Like, in giving advice, I was telling people that they can go through their insurance because, you know, I had Medicaid, so I had assumed that all insurances operated like that and would cover them for you, but that's not true. I know Medicare doesn't either, but, you know, it's kind of ridiculous because you would think that if you are, you know, buying into a health plan, you know, either you or your employer is paying, you would think they'd cover that because the plan is getting money, but that isn't so. Now here is a couple of options. Actually, there's going to be 3 options I'm going to mention for you today of what you can do if you find yourself in need. One is talk about getting a flexible spending account. A lot of the times your private health plans will allow you to get those accounts to offset medical costs. And if you have a job where your insurance is covered by your employer, you might want to talk to the Human Resources Department about getting a flexible spending account so that way your costs can be offset. Another thing you can do too if you're really desperate is you can look for the diaper banks. SimonFoundation.org, SimonFoundation.org has a listing of known diaper banks across the United States. They really do try to keep these updated as much as possible because they want to make sure that these diaper banks don't just serve babies and toddlers, but that they serve the medically incontinent public who are actually going to need them. So you can definitely check on SimonFoundation.org and find a listing, and you know, you'll see if there is a bank in your state or locale. If you don't find one in your state or locale, you can write to the Simon Foundation and let them know that, and you can see if you can get some assistance. Another thing also is that there is a company that I found yesterday. It's called Byram Healthcare. It's spelled B-Y-R-A-M as in Mary, Healthcare. And they have pretty decent diapers at reduced prices. Now, I really can't say too much about them because I haven't tried their diapers. I mean, I've tried the Prevail, and Prevail is okay, but it isn't my favorite. But hey, if you're in a pinch, I would definitely recommend it. I'm loyal to Tranquility. That's my favorite brand. However, I realize there are others on the market that are just as good or that were preferred by other people. But I'm partial to Tranquility personally. But they have Prevail, and they have another diaper brand that I can't remember off the top of my head, but they do carry those 2 brands. And the cool thing is they sell their diapers for $8 a pack, and you can get 16 of them in a pack. So that's pretty decent if you are a middle-class family and you're trying to get by, but you need these products for yourself or a loved one. I find that really awesome. And when I was talking to one of the representatives yesterday, she was telling me that they have the discounted program for individuals who do not qualify for Medicaid but are finding it a little difficult to afford their diapers and other said supplies. that are associated with incontinence. So I think it's really awesome. If you want to check them out, it's BYRAM as in Mary, healthcare.com. ByramHealthcare.com. It's really awesome. So these are your three options if you're finding yourself, making too much for Medicaid help, but you're not making enough to, steadily support yourself and your needs. I would think they would have these things covered on all insurance plans because they are a medical necessity, and that's probably something we can change. We as a community could probably write our correspondence offices that are associated with our health insurance companies and petition them to make this a covered item, because this is such a need. It's not like anyone chooses to be like that, and at least anyone who has a real problem. I mean, you do get the crazies out here who want to wear the diapers for fun and all that, but people who have a real legitimate problem don't make the choice to do this, and sometimes find it inconvenient or burdensome when the costs get too out of hand. So thankfully there are options, and I'm happy to share them with you. So have a great day.